All right, well, let's get this going. Nate, it's good to see you. And obviously, you have a very big fight. Now, I wanted to play off something that the other reporters were asking you about, the much talked about sort of run in that you had with Donald in this very gym just a couple of months ago. Do you feel as though there's too much camaraderie in this sport? Everyone's trying to be each other's friends?
Yeah, well, yeah, I just don't. That's not what I want to see when I see a fight. So I don't think, I don't think anybody else does either. So I don't know. I think he's making a little more than what it is too, what it was. So
What did happen?
he just tried to be my friend, try to come up and say hi. I just walked the other way. I wasn't trying to, like I said, I wasn't trying to be a bully or anything. I think he's trying to push me in the bully's direction, making me the bad guy. But I didn't. I just walked the other way, and I think he's just making a little more than what it was.
It's kind of interesting that it happened so recently. Did you almost have a feeling that he may be next for you? Because that was just 2 months ago, and you haven't fought since then.
He, well, I fought right before that
Right.
when he fought, and I got there, and I knew I was gonna fight somebody who was fighting, cause I went to that Houston card and I had just fought, and I knew I was gonna fight one of the lightweights there, or one of the lightweights on that show. So I knew I was coming, and it's not like I was. I'm just anybody who's in the same bracket as me. We're not friends, and we're not. We're not. We don't train together, and it's like it's just where you got to fight me. I'm not gonna put on a front and act like we're not fighting. So I knew it was probably him. It's like this. Like usually when I fought Kurt Pellegrino, I got picked up at the airport with Josh Neer, and when I fought Pellegrino, I got picked up at the airport with Josh Neer. We shook hands, we talked, we were cool. We fought, we won, we talked, and it was all good. And he fought my brother, and we had a good conversation, and it was cool. I liked him. And then I went home, and then they're like calling, and they're like, "You're fighting Josh Neer." So I'm like, there I went, made best friends with the guy, good friend with the guy that I'm fighting. So I went to that fight and fought. Got done with that fight. They sit me next to Clay Guida. So have us do an interview together and want us to be friends and talk. I was like, all right, good fight, good to see you, whatever. I go home, they call, "You're fighting Clay Guida," and then I go fight Clay Guida. I sit in the room with Joe Stevenson, who I was already cool with from past, and then I do whatever and say what up, good fight. Go home, "You're fighting Joe Stevenson," and carry it on to Melvin Gillard, and so I'm like, I make the mistake every time, and it's not like I'm not trying to bully nobody. Like I said, it's all good. I could respect anybody who fights in the UFC. It's a tough sport. Everybody's got to work hard and train hard. They're athletes. I'm an athlete, and I think it's great what they're doing. But I got to fight, so you go your way and I'll go mine. I got friends, I got my team, and I'm not gonna put on a front. But I'm not trying to be a bully. I'm just trying to, do what I got to do to survive in this UFC, MMA type of game.
If he wins on Friday, and even if he doesn't, it's his fifth fight this year, and he's looked very good thus far in the UFC. And even if you go back to what he did in December of last year against Chris Hordeski, it's almost 6 fights in the span of 365 days. Have you been impressed with him, with what he's done this year?
Um, I think I've done stuff like that. I fought before I got in the UFC. I was fighting 5 times a year, and then I fight anywhere from 3 to 5 times a year. So it's nothing I haven't done or my partners haven't done. So if I come out of a fight unscathed, I'm ready to fight the next day too. So, but whatever, yeah, he's on a roll. He's on a win streak, and I lost to 2 guys who were Don Kim, who was supposed to get a title if he beat Condit, a title fight, and Roy McDonald, who was underrated, who I knew was tough, and no one else knew who he was. And both of the guys, I didn't think they did anything to me. They just were maybe bigger than me, and it wasn't even the fact. It was just I went about the fights a little wrong. I should have done a little different things, but I don't know. I've had some tough fights, and I'm just working hard, trying to win and do what I got to do. Hopefully, I get a rematch with some of those guys one day, and but yeah, take nothing away from him. He's on a roll right now, so that's good for him.
Both of those fights were at 170. Again, at 155 against Gomi, you look fantastic. Prior to going up to 170, you look fantastic. Even at the beginning of your run at 170, you look fantastic. Does a part of you regret going up to 170 only because you probably would be closer to a title shot at 155 had you not moved up?
Yeah, well, the guys at 55 that were the guy at 55 that I lost to, little slim decision, were at the top of the division. So, and I went up to 70, and I was trying to come back to 55 before I got those 2 losses. And they're like, we want you at 70, and everybody was like, yeah, stay at 70. So, and then at this time they were offering me fights, Don Kim already, and I was like, all right, well, I'll fight whoever, so let's do it. But I'm going back to 55 because I want to get back in there. Gray Maynard's fighting for a title. Clay Guida and Melvin Gillard, they're both at the top of the division. I fought them, and I thought I beat Melvin, and I thought I beat the other 2, Gray and Clay. They both just recently lost, but they were the top of the division. So I'm like, man, I'm in that same category. I should be back down there handling business instead of fighting Don Kim and Roy McDonald, who are very tough guys, but everybody knows Clay Guida and Melvin Gillard compared to Don Kim. So it's kind of lose-lose for me. I had nothing. I mean, I did have something to win, but like no one knows those guys. They were kind of more known off of beating me, I think, than if I could just fight the top guys in lightweight. So, but I was never planning on going and sticking around at 170. I said I'll fight at 70, 85, whatever, for a couple fights if I'm going to keep getting robbed for decisions. So, but I'll do whatever. I kind of want to stick around 55 for a while, and even if I don't get close to getting that belt or beating everybody right now, I'm only getting better. I got nothing but improvement. The people at my gym helping all the time, and everybody's getting better together. And a lot of these guys who are like top guys, I see them staying the same or not training at camps that got as much to offer as the one that I do.
2 last questions before I let you go, and we appreciate the time. When people think about this fight, I think they're so excited about it because you both are great strikers and you're both great at jiu-jitsu, but you're both very different in both those martial arts, so to speak. He's probably more of a technical striker in the sense that he comes from the kickboxing background. You have the boxing style, so to speak, and your jiu-jitsu may be a little more similar. When you look at his striking and jiu-jitsu in particular, how do you compare yourself to him, and where do you see yourself being better than him?
I think he's technical, and he's got some good things that he does. But I train with guys that do the same thing, and there's nothing I haven't seen before. But we're gonna have to find out what happens on Friday night. That's when it goes down. So we'll see when it happens.
And final question, obviously had a long chat with your brother just a couple of months ago prior to his fight against BJ Penn. He talked about sort of his love of the sport, or maybe lack thereof, how he doesn't really enjoy doing this as much as he once did. Do you share the same feelings, how you don't really like fighting, but you like the training and whatnot, but you don't actually like the sort of art of fighting when it comes down to it?
I love fighting. I love the martial art. I love martial arts in general. I love, you know what I'm saying? I grew up on Van Damme, Bruce Lee movies, and I was like, that's what I want to do. Me and my brother, we did karate.